This was a crazy week for Bitcoin and we even reached the $77,000 yesterday. So this was insane of course. But however, we are also seeing some bearish patterns unfolding and we can see a huge move in the next week. And in this video I will tell you everything what we can expect for Bitcoin in the next week and if there's possibly going to be another bearish move for Bitcoin in the coming days. There's a lot of interesting data which I will discuss with you in this video. There's also a lot of interesting news coming into the markets. I will also have a look at the two altcoins, Solana and Chainlink, but about that later in the video. So you want to watch this video all the way to the end, please give a like because it will help this channel a lot. And with that being said, let's dive right into the charts. Yesterday Bitcoin opened the CME gap around the $76,532 and this is around this level, and I expect that Bitcoin is going to trade around this level during the weekend and that we're not going to see a lot of volatility unless of course there is a little bit of an event happening this weekend, but I don't think that is going to be happening. And I also think that Bitcoin will close this CME gap shortly after this weekend's end, so we could see a short close after the weekend and then Bitcoin can just trade freely during the week. So this $76,532 is the highest CME gap ever for Bitcoin in the history. And after this huge rise for Bitcoin, we saw a beautiful uptrend happening and we even came to the $77,000 and created an all-time high. And from now we are seeing this bearish pattern unfolding because this rising wedge formation is a typical bearish bias pattern which tends to break to the downside more often than to the top side. So we could potentially see a break to the downside and then a retest of the previous support to turn it into resistance, and then we can aim for lower targets to see a little bit of a retracement. But of course Bitcoin is still in this huge uptrend, so we could also see a bounce from this level and that Bitcoin is showing a little bit more strength and that we're coming back to this top side resistance and maybe even break it to the top side, which will give us more exponential moves. But however, this is a typical bearish bias pattern, so keep in mind that Bitcoin could see a little bit of a bearish move in the coming week. And yesterday we had another crazy week for the Bitcoin ETFs, especially BlackRock is buying for $206 million and in total we saw almost $300 million of inflow again. And now we're coming closer to the 26 billion of total cumulative inflow, so this is having a very bullish effect on the price of Bitcoin. And we can now see that the total cumulative inflow for the Bitcoin ETFs is going exponential. And let's see if we can come closer to this $30 billion total inflow, because of course that will also have a very interesting price effect for Bitcoin. So this is looking very bullish and we have another very insane week again. And let's see what the Ethereum ETFs did yesterday. We can see an 85.9 million inflow, so this was one of the best days ever for the Ethereum ETF. And finally the Ethereum ETFs are showing interest into Ethereum, so this is also having a very bullish price effect on Ethereum. And we can see also that Ethereum is rising like crazy in this week. And if we then zoom out a little bit to the 4-hour time frame, we can see this huge rising broadening wedge, and we can see a lot of touch points on the top side as resistance, and also on the lower side we can see a lot of touch points as support. Currently we are grinding against this huge resistance area on the top side, so we could potentially see a little bit of a throwback and that we're coming back inside of this rising wedge formation. So keep in mind that we are at this huge resistance area, but of course we could also see a bullish break and that will give us more exponential moves. So however, we could also see a rejection from this level and that we have to aim for lower levels again. And this is nothing to worry about because from there we can just enter the market again for Bitcoin, because you want to buy every dip for Bitcoin in a trend. So keep in mind that the rising broadening wedge still has a very interesting path because we're still in this huge uptrend, but we could also see a bit of a rejection from this resistance area. So keep in mind that we could see a little bit of a throwback again to lower levels. And the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is now back in greed and we are seeing a lot of euphoria into the market. So this could be the time to take a little bit of profits, because as I was saying, when we were in stages of fear, I was buying, and we were in stages of fear last month. We saw levels of 39 and that was the exact moment I was telling you that you could buy more Bitcoin and that you could wait when we are back in stages of greed and then you can take a little bit of profit. So when we are in stages of greed or extreme greed, I'm going to take a little bit of profits. And if we then zoom out to the daily time frame, we can see that Bitcoin is still in this huge uptrend and we are seeing beautiful higher highs and higher lows, and this uptrend is going exponential. And currently this week we created a higher high, so this is looking very bullish, and of course this was also confluent with a new all-time high. So for now we can see that Bitcoin is creating a little bit of a resistance around here. So we could potentially see a little bit of a throwback, and from there we could potentially create a higher low. And if we're going to create a higher low, you could be entering the market again, because as I'm always saying, I'm buying every dip when we are in an uptrend, because in this uptrend I also bought every dip, and at these levels I bought more Bitcoin. But of course at these tops I also sold a little bit of my portion, so I took a little bit of profits. So we are now at all-time highs, so it's never a bad time to take a little bit of profits. So in the next week we could see a little bit of retracement to create a higher low. From this higher low you could be interested in the market again. And if we have a look at this chart with horizontal levels that act as resistance and support, we can see that we broke every resistance, but this last big resistance was broken last week. But we didn't see a retest of this level, and this level was also confluent with the previous all-time high. So potentially we could see a little bit of a throwback to this level, and it will be around the $73,500. And from there we can enter the market again in a long or just spot buy order, and then we can aim for higher targets. So I sold a little bit of Bitcoin at this level, and now I'm going to wait that we're going to see a retest of this resistance area to turn it into support, and from there we can aim for higher targets. And the Bitcoin quarterly and monthly returns are looking strong. For Q4 we are now seeing a more than a 20% increase, so this is insane of course. And also October was having double digits, and now we are coming also closer to the double digits in November. We are already up for almost 9%, so this is of course having a very bullish effect for the price of Bitcoin. And if December can also be green, then we could see levels around the $90,000 very soon. So let me know in the comments what you think about the rest of the year, and let me know what your end of year prediction for Bitcoin is. And the first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Solana. I've been talking a lot about Solana on my socials, and I was saying that when we broke this huge resistance area on the daily time frame, I'm very bullish to wait for a retest. And if this bullish retest happens, I'm interested in a long trade for Solana, and then we can continue the bullish uptrend. And if we then have a look at the chart, we were at this resistance area, we broke it to the top side, and from this area I said that we could wait for a bullish retest, and then you could enter the market in the long for Solana. So from this level I'm already up for almost 25% in the long, so this is insane of course, and congratulations if you took this trade together with me. And now Solana broke to this huge resistance area on the top side as well, so we have to paint it green. And we could potentially see a little bit of a throwback to test this previous resistance area as support. And from there you can enter the market for Solana in the long. And from there you can aim for higher targets. So this of course is looking very bullish. As Solana came back above the $200 in this week. So this is insane. And let's see if we can see a little bit of a retracement to test these lower levels, and then aim for exponential moves to the top side. And the next interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Chainlink. Chainlink is also having a lot of very interesting price action this week. And I've been talking about Link on my socials as well. And when we were in this huge consolidation formation on the daily time frame, we were grinding against this huge resistance area. And I said if we're going to break this bullish, we could see a retest, and then we can aim for the $20 target. So this is exactly what Chainlink is doing right now. We are seeing this grinding price upwards. We're seeing this huge resistance area, and eventually the price of Chainlink was getting squeezed into an apex. And now we're seeing this huge spike to the top side. And now I'm going to wait for this bullish retest. And if Chainlink is coming back to this level, we can enter the market for Chainlink in the long, and then we can aim for higher targets. Because after this bullish retest, this huge resistance area is being turned into support, and this is of course very bullish. So this is looking very strong for Chainlink, and we are now seeing a very bullish week. So this is what we want to see. And of course, the $20 target is now coming closer and closer, but there are also a lot of interesting resistance area coming into play. For instance, this could be a very interesting place to take a little bit of profits, because this area acted as huge resistance and support in the past. And this could be a very interesting level to take a little bit of profits, and that will be around the $17. So if Chainlink is coming to this level, you can take a little bit of profits, but after this bullish retest, if you enter the market in a long, this is already a more than a 30% increase, so this could be a very interesting trade to make on Chainlink. So please give a like if you find the video useful. Don't forget to follow me on my other socials, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.